Today's leaven is a leaven of the kingdom of God. Suppose we meet an angry person. How do we analyze him or her? How do we respond to that person? Most probably, we try to keep that person away from our life. But every angry person, or for that matter, every person who suffers from any emotional issues, actually they are not completely responsible for their situation. In their childhood, they must have been initiated into this angry life gradually. So something must have been in their childhood which triggered this angry emotion to be excessive in that person, and since it was unresolved and since it was not dealt sufficiently, that person becomes an angry person. And if that person grows into an adult, sometimes it may be uncontrollable. As I reflect on today's gospel, which is taken from Luke chapter 13 to 18 to 21, Jesus is talking about the leaven of the kingdom of God, a lamp of leaven taken by the woman to leaven the entire batch of dough. He's also using the imagery of mustard seed, but I want to focus on the leaven that was taken by that woman. Luke chapter 12:1, Jesus also talks about leaven of Pharisees, which has got a very negative connotation because it is coming from Exodus chapter 12:5, where Moses is asking the Israelites to put away the leaven from their houses during the event of Passover and Exodus. So that means the leaven can have both negative and positive connotations. So when Jesus speaks about a leaven of Pharisees, that symbolizes a leaven of the world, leaven of evil things, which should be put away from our life. So any emotional issues like anger that grows up with somebody's life is like that leaven of Pharisee, which prevents somebody's growth in grace, growth in entire personality. So Jesus is actually talking about the leaven of Pharisees, the leaven of the world, the leaven of evil things that can prevent a person's proper development as a human person, an authentic, dignified, holy child of God. So on the other hand, we can talk about the leaven that Jesus is talking about today. Today's leaven is a leaven of the kingdom of God. I want to interpret that as a leaven of grace from a very personal point of view. Every one of us have got the capacity for good, capacity for holiness, capacity to become a saint. That is there. But once we allow the leaven of the Pharisee, leaven of the world, leaven of anger or any other negative things to grow in our life, we become that way, that person. But when we allow the leaven of grace to grow in our life, gradually that affects our entire personality, that affects our emotions, that affects our mental abilities, that affects our emotions and intellectual capacities, that affects our thought process, attitudes, behavior, and social interactions. In that way, we become persons of grace, we become holy persons, we become saints. So Jesus is talking about this leaven of grace, leaven of the kingdom of God, that should grow in our life. If we allow this leaven of grace, we will become the agents of the kingdom of God, where righteousness, peace, joy, and happiness abound.